Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Well, that didn't quite go as good as Game 1 did. The Calgary Flames fall to the Vancouver Canucks. Your final score 5-1 in what turned into a bit of a feisty affair over next to the Costco downtown Vancouver. My name's Conrad Krausert. Once again, Anand Unnithan joining me today. Um, and before we go into the recap, I'm going to ask you a question. What was your feeling when you saw the news that it was going to be Dustin Wolf starting in net for the Calgary Flames?
You know, I was not honestly too surprised because you know what the deal is gonna be, that he's gonna be our main starter. Little surprised that they went like right away already to season openers. I think that sends a message to his backup right now, Devin Cooley. And I know LF Friedman pointed out yesterday, like multiple times during the broadcast, that the Flames are indeed in a hunt for a backup goalie. Whether it comes via trade, whether it comes via a waiver pick, we'll see what happens on that front. But you know, especially coming into the season, we know Dustin Wolf was going to be the main starter. I didn't know it would happen right away. I didn't know it would happen right away. I knew he would get some back to backs, but I didn't know if it was right away. So maybe a little surprise, but not all that much.
Game 2 coming after. Oh, I see my chair has made an appearance again. Um, Coming game 2 after a game that went beyond overtime, went all the way to a shootout, a 8-round shootout even. The Flames leave Edmonton late, get into Vancouver even later. You have to think, like, why are we running the wheels off of Dustin Wolf already? But I just kind of wanted to get that conversation going because I know it's probably the first question everyone's asking. So we'll address that a little bit. I'm sure we'll get more into it as more people pop in. So let's go straight into the recap. It was a kind of a neutral game, kind of a feeling out period for about the first 13 minutes. But then the Flames, oh my God, Joel Hanley just absolutely muffins a play at the blue line that every single NHL defenseman should handle. He wasn't under pressure, boots it in between his skates. O'Connor comes away, gets the pass off to Kiefer Sherwood, and Sherwood, it's a great shot, but it's a shot and a zone opportunity that shouldn't have come with an NHL defenseman on the ice.
Yeah, Joel Hanley had a tough time tonight, along with we'll name one other defenseman soon.
Mm-hmm.
All of our defensemen tonight had a tough time, tough go, even one getting hurt. So, yeah, not too looking good on a back to back for a Calgary Flames defenseman tonight.
Yeah, welcome Vol Bill 99's checking in from the game over Vancouver. I know it's a little bit tough to open the season. I haven't heard from Kaya in a bit. And this Thursdays are one of Mark's school days. So tough for them to get a game stream going on today. But welcome to you. Thanks for tuning into Game Over Calgary. Your Vancouver Canucks did very well today. And then just good individual work from Philip Cheitel. Just absolutely undresses every member of the Calgary Flames that is on the ice. And then plays it off Kevin Ball's helmet. Every Calgary Flame on the ice stops moving as Kevin Ball falls onto the pad of Dustin Wolf. And Cheitel keeps control of the puck, gets his own rebound, and fires it home. We had a couple talks about this in our chat that we have between us. It almost feels like, you know how when baseball, when someone gets hit in the head, the whole stadium goes silent and everyone kind of stops? It feels like that should be the moment in time and the rule that is used in the NHL. Like, it's it's frustrating, like, because you see, even it looked like most of the Vancouver Canucks players had turned off at that point. But Chital stays on the puck and scores, and as we know is the rule, the play will not be stopped for a player that's down on the ice until possession changes or the scoring opportunity is gone. Neither of which took place. Chital pops it into the empty cage because Wolf's knocked over by his behemoth of a defenseman falling on him. Nothing really you can do.
Yeah, talking about a little bit, I'm slowly getting into baseball only, so like the plays and all that, but relating to cricket, I'm gonna maybe reference cricket for this time. Whenever a play, like a ball hits the batsman's helmet at the head, they call it a dead ball right away. Everybody goes in silence. The play is completely stopped. Trainer comes out, checks on the player right away. But yeah, like I said, Conrad, hopefully the NHL can look into modifying how maybe as soon as somebody gets hit above the head or like by the helmet, you stop play right away, blow it dead, and then let the make way for the trainer to come and check on the player.
But that would require the Department of Player Safety to actually care about player safety. So we know it's never going to happen in this league. But anyways, by the way, that's after a scoreless second period where the Flames start to pour it on. This is early in the second, and that would be the last time we would see Kevin Ball for the night. A brand new signing or re-signing, brand new contract extension for Kevin Ball, and hopefully that's just out of precaution, because obviously we're already missing one of the Flames stars. Well, paid like a star, performs like an okay player. Jonathan Huberdeau, out with a concussion currently from a hit to the head he took in the preseason. So yeah. But I hope
Martin
you like the name.
Pospisil is also out.
That's not with a head injury though. That was with a calf injury sustained in practice. We'll see when he's
Yeah.
back. I haven't heard a lot of good things on that regard. But I hope you like the name Philip Chital, because we're going to say it one more time. And assist going to Archdeep Baines is once again the Flames try and play it back to the point. Rasmus gets a half shot away, but Philip Chital gets around him, sees the green light, knows the Flames are pressing, and puts one past Dustin Wolf. And honestly, if this is a rested Dustin Wolf, I don't think that puck goes in. I think Dustin Wolf finds a way to get lateral, but a extremely tired Dustin Wolf gets scored on. And you saw Nazem Kadri was irate on the bench. I don't know if he was pointing down the bench, so I assume he's looking at the combination of Jake Bean and Rasmus Anderson. Of course, Jake Bean not usually going to be in that situation. Usually it's going to be Kevin Ball out there, but as we said, the injury makes Bean, Pahal play more minutes. We saw later on as this game progressed, it wasn't Bean who was taking those substitute shift. It was Braden Pahal. But there's no way Philip Chital should be that wide open after your defenseman on that side has just taken a shot. If he's seeing a guy going past him, he should be digging to try and get back. I understand you're down 2 goals already at this point, so you're trying to get one back. But a goal against is just as much of a dagger as a goal for at that point. We're gonna try and get through this a little bit quicker today. And then of course you have the Lecker-Mackey goal, Evander Kane and Connor Garland on the assists. Garland puts it down low. Kane finds Lecker-Mackey coming in off of the line change. And it just isn't covered at all by guess who's on the ice. It's Jake Bean and Joel Hanley. I said, the fact that Bean, Miramanov, to a lesser extent, keeping Zane Parekh in the NHL, cost us Ilya Slovyov, a two-way defender who is, in most people's books, obviously got claimed by a team that wasn't in playoff contention, so that's a low waiver claim priority. Thought that he is good enough to be an everyday NHL defenseman. And now it could come to hurt us with Kevin Ball being up. But I digress. That's a conversation for later. Morgan Frost puts a puck that just didn't get across the line by the Canucks. First time really all night they'd had difficulties getting out of their own zone. Follow the bouncing puck. Morgan Frost knocks it home. On the broadcast, you could see it went off a couple of legs. Breaks the shutout. Doesn't do much other than that. And then, of course, the nail in the coffin, Brock Besser. The assist from offensive Elias Pettersson. And Jake DeBrusk. Just, that's what Brock Besser is paid to do. He is one of the best wrist shots in the NHL when he can get the time and space. Awarded, it was Pahal and Rasmus on the ice once again. It didn't matter. The Flames weren't winning this game. But doesn't help Rasmus Anderson's trade value at all.
I mean, the Flames had chances in the first and second period when they kept it barely at 1-0. But then, of course, they became tired, they became exhausted. Wolf was battling exhaustion, of course, travel back to back, all that stuff. 8 runs were shootout last night. So all those mixed together. But I'll tell you one thing, Conrad, though, I've been impressed by Morgan Frost, Matvey Gredin, and bits of maybe Coronato as well. He struggled a bit tonight. But those three, even Joel Farabee had some good moments today, especially on that goal coming in front of and screening. So I think that was the only positive to take away. But otherwise, like I said at the beginning of the show, the defense struggled. And I told you something off the air earlier. I'll tell that point maybe down the road when we discuss about more about defensemen. But I have something to say.
You know what? We'll change the order up. Let's go right into that point. I'll throw the second period banner up here and go ahead, make your point, speak your truth.
On Saturday, if one of Bean or maybe if Ball is not ready to go, or if
If Joel
somebody
Hanley,
else is not, or Joel Hanley not ready to go, and Perek is not in for the home opener, we are rioting, or I'm gonna say something. I know
it's not going to be
it's
pretty.
very
Like
hard to get me angry, but it won't be pretty coming from me.
no, I think it might be time for both Hanley. Well, obviously we don't know the current status of Kevin Ball, but if that is the case, um, yeah, one of them needs to be watching from the rafters at Calgary, at the Saddle Dome. Like it's at this point, they're both -2 today. They were bad in Edmonton. Like I understand, as I said last year, the Flames carried 5 7th defensemen, and that didn't change in the off season. Um, like it's frustrating. I was saying in another chat that I'm in, if this is the defense that we're gonna see out of Jake Bean and to a lesser extent Pahal, I didn't think he was as bad today as Hanley and Bean were, but if that's the case, throw Zane Parekh in every single game, the rest of the 80, because at the worst he's learning. He's learning to play at the NHL level, because the ceiling that we've seen from Jake Bean and Joel Hanley is unexcusable. Like, hey, and I know I've been the biggest Daniil Miramanov hater, but Daniil Miramanov at least can score goals. At least he's big occasionally. Like, if this is the defense that we've said we're all right losing a 24-year-old left-handed defenseman who is going out there and giving his all every single shift, I'm sorry, but the Craig Conroy experiment, it's time to end. Like that's if this is the way we are going to be evaluating talent, I'm done with it. Like I understand like maybe Craig Conroy sees that there isn't enough talent in this squad to be a playoff team. And if that's the case, why are we continuing to have the services of Jake Bean? Why not have that veteran clear through waivers, go be your rah, I'm Calgarian, I love this city, I love playing for this city on the Wranglers. Have him go wear a letter in the AHL for 82 games or however, 64. Cause like, I'm tired of people saying that, oh, he's only got this job because his dad's the CEO. He's not in the system anymore, guys. Like, we can keep that excuse put away. But like, losing young talent that's gonna come to haunt this team. Like we've seen it. Juuso Välimäki was a guy who got run out of town because of the numbers game. And of course, did he mature into anything? No, not really. Did it end up really hurting us? No. But it certainly had the potential to. I'm not going to go to the Oliver Shillington situation because that's a whole nother bag of worms involving free agency and agents being agents. But this is a team that if our future is going to, or if our window is going to be in the future, we cannot lose 24-year-old defensemen. We can lose these guys that are in their 30s. We can lose Daniil Miramanov. Why'd I call him Dennis? I don't know. We can lose Daniil Miramanov, who isn't getting playing time with this roster. Keep the 24-year-old. Like, if we're gonna, and we're also gonna carry 8 defensemen. Like, okay, sure, we are where we're at. You're playing back-to-back games and you're carrying 8 defensemen, but elect to change none of them. That is ineptitude. I don't know who's making that call. If it's Huska, hey, buddy, you just got a contract extension. I understand that. But that's inexcusable. Like, I don't get it. Like, if we are making these decisions to understand that Zane Parekh, yeah, he's going to need some maturing time. Okay, give me Miramanov on a team that had 20 hours rest. Play him on his offside. He plays hockey, doesn't he? He used to be a forward. I'm sure shifting from right to left or left to right isn't going to hurt his game that much playing 12 minutes a night. Oh, as people just... No, didn't hear that notification noise. A friend of mine messaging me and telling me I need to probably go enjoy some substances after a game like that. But it just doesn't add up to me, and I think I've seen you nodding your head. What are your thoughts on this? Should Ilya Solovyov still be a Flame, or am I holding on to things a little too tightly?
You know, that's a really good point. Like, if you can carry 8 defensemen, why don't you make at least one change? I thought coming into tonight we'll see some tweaks, like maybe Honzek was an extra forward. He didn't get slotted in. There is Parekh and Miramanov that was sitting. Could they have come in? You know, I know it's just game 2. I don't want to get too harsh once again. I'm going to wait until maybe October to start fully dissecting. But again, some of these decisions that they make, especially in game 2, especially on a back to back, you played hockey so in such a short turnaround. Why couldn't you make some changes? I know there is a saying.
I'm going to jump in here, Anand.
Yeah.
Because you brought up a gorgeous point there. Like, how we didn't change anything. The only thing we changed is where our wingers were playing. And why is Igor Sharangovich getting elevated up the lineup for his performance in Edmonton, where he was invisible, and then was invisible again today? And the only time I noticed him was when he was reaching for his hip because he got a nagging injury. Something we said too many times to that player. Anyways, go ahead, Anand. I'm sorry. Had to jump in, had to get that out there.
Yeah, what I was gonna say as well. Sorry, I lost. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I had
I'm
one
sorry
quick
for
point as well.
jumping in there.
No, it's okay.
It's just so
Um,
frustrating because this isn't the first time we're saying this, is it, Anand? Like, where we've been critical of roster usage decisions. It was me and Matt who went off on it a lot last year, but nothing's changed.
yeah, I know that. Oh, yeah. This is what I was gonna say. There is a saying that don't try to fix something that's broken. But yesterday you saw broken parts of the game, so could you have made a change? Sure, why not? Of course, they didn't start well yesterday either. They were down 3-0, and a few lucky bounces got them back to tie game, and then 8 rounds of shootout. Could you have fixed those broken parts to what worse can Honzak do? Honzak can
The,
maybe
I'm going to add
and
on to
drive.
that because, like, let's be honest. We did not deserve to win that game in Edmonton. A lucky bounce off a skate, to get a guy's first goal, a goalie who decided, I'm not going to cover this, I'm not going to play it to the corner, I'm going to let the controller disconnected animation play, and a debatable high stick. Those are the 3 goals the Calgary Flames scored last night. None of those are expected goal scoring plays. You won because of dumb luck, and that happens. Hockey is the sport affected most by luck, according to studies on this game. But it's gotta come time. Like, yeah, you won. You didn't win that on necessarily your own merit. It has to be said. So then that's when changes should happen. And I'm not just talking about shuffling the deck chairs. Maybe that's saying, Adam Klapka, you're not necessarily known for your cardiovascular skills. Let's go see what Sam Honzek can bring in a 4th line role. As much as I love the monster, and then we see little Ryan Lomberg, the gnat, just flying around. There's a lot of decisions I didn't agree with today, and it came to bite the Flames in the butt. And let's go to the third period because we need to talk about some of the decisions made by the officials today. Like, how does a hit straight to the numbers, a player needing to get assisted off the ice, get downgraded from a 5-minute penalty to a 2-minute penalty? Like, do we need to get the stop signs back like we do in youth hockey? Where you can't hit in the back of the numbers?
I think the Flames fans have gotten used to it, especially from last season. Uh, A
Dennis
few of
Weidman
our
was
penalties.
Dennis Weidman retired 4 years ago. Officials, start calling it down the middle.
I was going to say we have seen quite a few penalties that were called 5 minutes on the ice, then right away downgraded to two. And it's not surprising anymore, especially after seeing it quite a few times last season. I don't think it's surprising anymore, but unfortunately, it's a shock. I took a look at the replays again of both the hits between the bigger hit that he hit, and then Zari as well, totally different. Zari was down for a bit. Trainer came and helped him off the ice, but thank God he came back. Poor guy can't stay away from scary injuries or scary hits even. So it's going to be an unfortunate thing. I know, like you said, Conrad Dennis Wedman retired, but like I said, we won't be able to always get an agreement from the officials from what we think. It's always sometimes gonna go our way. Like yesterday, the high stick one went our way, but most of the time it may not come our way. And I think that's going to be the reality moving forward.
And Kelly had a good point. And you don't hear me say that very often, despite the fact that one of my high school friends is now engaged or married to his daughter. Anyways, but the situations, Elias Pettersson touched the puck. Elias Pettersson had control of the puck when he was hit. Connor Zary did not touch the puck when he was hit from behind in the numbers by defensive Petey. Like, they were completely different scenarios. And maybe in the replay, they found, his stick glanced the puck. So my argument is null and void. It's possible. But it's a different situation between the two hits. And Tokay is agreeing that we are still paying for what Dennis Weidman did. What an idiot. But anyways, it's 2 late nights in a row, so I think we are going to try and keep this at a quicker pace. You okay if we head on to the overtime period, Anand?
Yeah, I think we have few chats to get to, so
Yeah,
why
we
not?
got a few chats to get through. Why not? But before we get to those chats, as a reminder, head on over to the Game Over Network. Andrew Berkshire has put up a blog post as to the why the Game Over Network exists. And I'm going to steal a quick excerpt from it. It's so that people like me and Anand have a chance to develop our skills. You saw a bunch of hosts from Merrick Robertson, who's now writing for the Hockey News, to Matt DeMille, who is doing incredible work with the Western Hockey League. Get their opportunities through the last year. We want to continue to offer those opportunities, and without your support as a viewer, and without commercial support and getting eyes on understanding why this product exists and why it's important to have local fan-focused media in the industry, it could go away, folks. So please head on over to the Game Over Network, give Andrew's blog a quick read, a share, throw it out on your social media. Remind people that, hey, local sports still matter. And we're here to continue that drive. So Tokay's asking me to back up. Whoa, back up. My friend married Kelly Rudy's daughter. Yes, I don't know how they met. It was one of my buddies in high school. Like, you have that group of friends you kind of talk to start the morning before the first bell. Yeah, one of my buddies in that. I think they met through some of his art projects. And I don't know if any of you guys pay attention to Kelly when he talked last year, really, and during COVID about the More Good Days clothing company that his daughter runs. Yeah, my friend is the artist who runs a lot of those designs a lot of those shirts. So shout out to Hayden Jones. Hayden, love your shirts. So yeah, check out More Good Days clothing. A lot of their proceeds go to supporting mental health initiatives. So be sure to give them a look after you give some of the Game Over merch a look. I had my Game Over merch, just had to do laundry. I was like, oh yeah, I have that shirt. Yeah, it's still sitting in the laundry bin. We'll go back to Tokay. I'm gonna save your other question for last because that's obviously a bit of a jab at the Vancouver Canucks friends in here. Volbill, you're a Predators fan. I have Yusei Saros as my goalie in fantasy. My goaltender's combined height is about 11 feet between Dustin Wolf and Yusei Saros in fantasy. So my short kings. Matt C. It feels like a waste to have played Dustin Wolf here. I'm going to take that as a question. And do you think this game goes any worse if that's Devin Cooley in net today?
I feel again. Here's my thought. I don't know how to put it this way, how to formulate this answer.
Ramble if you need to.
Yeah, I don't like the score could have been maybe worse, perhaps. But at the same time, Devin Cooley was more rested than Dustin Wolf. So there is 50-50. I don't know really. The fact that
I'm going to jump off.
eventually you might want to give Devin Cooley a chance. When is the right time? We don't know. We won't know until
Devin Cooley or backup X. As you said, Friedman's saying the Flames looking at the waiver claim and maybe to make a trade to acquire a backup. As long as they don't sign James Reimer, I agree. But like as you said, I don't think the result changes. I don't think it gets any worse. I think you save your young starting goaltender from getting emotionally shelled. I don't think there's any harm that would have come from dressing Devin Cooley today, other than maybe some of our mental health points. All right, let's head all the way back. Nuxuck, I agree. If the plan is to take some pain now and build for a better future team, we need to actually build that. Let the young guys get some play. From my housemate, the Denim Man. Like, as I said, we shouldn't be losing guys that are 24 in favor of guys that are 28 if the plan is to be competitive when that new stadium opens. Like, I don't think I'm rubbing anyone the wrong way saying that. If we have Ilya Solovyov playing the 13 minutes that were played by Jake Bean prior to the injury, I don't think much changes. I don't think there's an exponential rise in shots on goal, on high danger chances. Of course, now the minutes played isn't showing up on NHL.com. That would just be great if things worked how they're supposed to. Yeah, because they've actually eliminated all but one of the Calgary Flames shots, according to the NHL website. So I don't have actual time on ice totals for the Flames today. But I don't think it would really change all that much.
Conrad, thinking about it, I heard it somewhere. At one point, there was an agreement that why they waived Soloviev just to ease the what do you call logjam in the AHL, just in case he gets sent down, to give Etienne Morin and all those players chances to play top minutes. That was one of the reason. But now that I think about it, the Flames carrying a defenseman, little bit older, more defenseman like Miramano, for example. Why couldn't you have waived him? Of course, that's
Well,
going to be
because he
the
would
next
clear,
thought.
and then he has to go to the Wranglers, and then these guys aren't getting their minutes. Hey, you can play the guys you send down lower down the lineup, or not play them if you choose. Like if Miramonov had cleared, yeah, sure, you want to give Etienne Morin and co more minutes. Don't play him there. You're not under any obligation to play guys who you send down. It doesn't make sense. Waiting till December to pass judgment on any team, regardless. Yeah, and that's fair. Because I don't think the Detroit Red Wings are the worst team in the NHL, despite the fact that they just lost to the Montreal Canadiens 5-1 today. Just putting that one out there. Still gonna save that one from Tokay. Matt C, there is a decent chunk of our cap space being paid to middle six wingers who don't score. I don't disagree in that. If we look at especially who the middle four were today. Frost and Farabee, I think you don't really have to look at them too long. I think they were two of the better Flames today in both. You saw Frost penalty killing, and you saw Farabee on that power play unit. Sharon Govich, yeah, hasn't scored and did not look like he wanted to play hockey very much today. Blake Coleman, he's got a goal, but he's not someone you're really expecting to have a whole ton of offensive production. He's more in that shutdown role. Connor Zary, who knows what Connor Zary is after that knee surgery? Like, you have to remember it was two major knee injuries. We don't know what number 47 is, despite the contract he just signed. And then obviously Lomberg and Klapka. Shrug. They're playing 12 minutes a night. If they're what sinks your ship, I think you have a bigger problem with the ship. All right. So we'll go to the big troll question of Tokay. And do you think the New Jersey Devils will play Quinn and Luke Hughes together or not? That is kind of the one thing that's lingering in the NHL now that Connor McDavid has signed, is the fact that Quinn Hughes has not signed a contract extension with the Canucks. Now, I think if this is the Canucks that we see all season and they're competitive, pushing for a playoff spot, and proving to Hughes that, hey, we've actually invested and are changing some things up, I think that contract gets signed. But if this is a flash in the pan and this isn't the case, we'll see what that says moving forward. But I do think if they do go to free agency, it is pretty assured that Quinn will be going to New Jersey. And I think they'll probably play the Hughes brothers together, like at least to start off. But I don't think it gets there. Your thoughts, Anand?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. It depends on how the Vancouver Canucks decide to go direction. Do they want to still compete for a player spot? After seeing today, they can compete for a player spot. But we'll see few more games down the road, maybe a couple months in, to see if they're competitive or not, or we'll see if Quinn Hughes, pardon me, hits the market, like you said, the free agency market, and maybe we'll see brothers play together,
And
which
before
will
we
be quite interesting.
Yeah, and before we sign off for the day, I don't know how many of you guys follow at Hockey Stat Cards, which is Dom Decisions and natural stat tricks kind of way of visualizing players for the game. The Vancouver Canucks had 6 players generating offense below statistically average. It's not the true story of the game for these stat cards. It has to give you a pretty good idea. Because when there were 6 of the Canucks that produced below neutral offensive zone time, there were 4 Calgary Flames who had positive offensive production. Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee, Braden Pahal, which shocks me, and a guy who we criticized today, in Igor Sharangovich. But I think we'll start to wrap up for the day. Reminder, Saturday's game is a weird start time for the Calgary Flames. It's a 2 p.m. puck drop. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that one. Getting back home. So we will be live at around 5 p.m. So if you want to have me as your appetizer before you get ready for your dinners throughout the Thanksgiving long weekend, I will be here. And I think you're heading out to Mexico, or are you in no, you're in High River for that one.
No, actually, I have another play-by-play gig. I'm in High River on Friday, play-by-play gig on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm in Mexico. It's my dad and mom's 30th wedding anniversary, so I'll be gone for a week. Conrad, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Happy Thanksgiving to all our followers and supporters on the chat. Uh, Thank you for continuing to view us and keeping the chat engaged. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and for anyone that is going to the Cavalry FC game tomorrow, I'll be over in section 200 if you want to come give me a wave. Don't be afraid to say hi to me in public if you do see. It's giving me a wave right now. But yeah, as I said, 4:45, the kind of expected time, unless of course the Flames and Blues are so closely matched that they decide to go to overtime. But I already saw Bennington let in 5 today, and the Blues couldn't score. So maybe that'll be a more interesting affair than we thought. But for all of us across the Game Over Network, including myself and Anand, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being as active in chat as you are always. Shout out, I saw KQ in here. We'll be back in better in no time. And Tokay as well. Denim Man, despite the fact that your Red Wings lost, thank you for joining us. Vol Bill, as you said, joining us from Game Over Vancouver. Thank you to everyone who showed up today. I'll be back on Saturday, and Ned will be back when he's back from the sunny shores of Mexico. And
I
hopefully,
don't think it will be sunny, Conrad. I heard it's raining in Puerto Vallarta where I'm going, so I'll keep
uh,
my fingers crossed.
I hope there's sun
I
and I hope
I'm
it's warm.
hoping, yeah, that's my hope. I don't want my dad and mom's 30th wedding anniversary to be ruined. So yeah, fingers crossed.
You'll have a good time regardless. We'll be back on Saturday here, folks, where the Flames look to rebound from a 5-1 loss to the Vancouver Canucks. Oh, that was the wrong one. That's the Lombo, not the outro. Ugh, those buttons. Why are they so close to each other? I know. I really need to get a stream deck and just like code in all of my scene changes.